business coaches are not going to like this, but there's a really good chance that you've been working hard. There's a really good chance that you're tired. You're tired of the same old recycle advice and empty promises. You've seen them as just as well as I have. These gurus and influencers that are saying the 10 steps to overnight success or the 7 secret formula to 7 figures. But how many have actually moved the needle for you? How many have actually given you the concrete systems and the answers to the solutions that you need? As right now, I want to show you the model that we use to be able to grow businesses so easily. We call this the Vanguard model. If you're skeptical, good, I want you to be. But I want you to stick with me to the end right now, because you'll be able to see that when you use the Vanguard model, just like we use in the private advisory group, that we use to be able to grow business so much faster and so much easier, without the fuss, without the complexity, that you're going to be able to do the exact same thing. This is where we're going to be able to make sure that you have the right systems in place, where you can go from confused to clear. This is where we're going to be able to have the accountability in place for you, your team, your systems in place to be able to take your business from chaotic to clockwork. And I really mean that. So your business is able to operate like clockwork, so you can start to walk away, step back, and have some breathing room from your business to be able to grow it without tearing your hair out. But really importantly, this is where we ensure that your business is going to have the systems in place so you can have predictable growth day in, day out, where you're going to be able to go from struggling to seamless, making sure that everything's done the way that it needs to get done. Because I have screwed this up so many times as well before, and I know you probably have the same feeling. But when your business is struggling and you're trying to do so many things, you're working so hard, you're constantly feeling like you're putting out fires everywhere and it's just not growing as fast enough. It's just not as easy as you want it to be. When we can have those systems installed and they are seamless and they're working the way that's needed to, and your business is going from that chaotic to really making sure it's going into clockwork operations, and you understand that you go from confused to clear, and you know exactly what it is that you need to do every single day, and it's not this massive long to-do list, but it's this short, very clear, precise action list that you can get to work on with ease. That is a game changer in your business, and that's what I want to give you right now. And this all came about really simply, well, it actually after a lot of hard yakka, but it came about after selling my last company at the end of last year, and that being able to have that breathing room, be able to sit in a place and go, I don't have to work for money anymore, but what's the work that I really want to be able to do? And that really came to liberation. I want us to be able to liberate ourselves. I want to liberate you. I want to liberate me. I want to liberate us as entrepreneurs to be able to grow the businesses in the way that we want to be able to do it. I want you to be in the business model that gives you the ability to do the work that you absolutely love, helping the people that you really want to be able to work with, and being able to do it in the way where you have the money and the lifestyle that you want to really enjoy and to flourish in life. And this is why we've created the Vanguard model. This is why it starts right now with you in the very center of the Vanguard model, being able to be like, hey, what is it exactly that you will be able to want? And the way that we're going to build this right now is to ensure that you know that every single process in place is working. Every single process is doing what it needs to do, so that ultimately you can put your head on the pillow at the end of every night, knowing that your business is growing, flourishing, doing what it needs to, and you're not tearing your hair out. Because the first thing that we need to be able to do is we need to be able to take you from confused, we need to be able to take you to clear. If you're a confused entrepreneur, if you're a confused business owner, you're simply not going to get done what it is that you need to be able to get done. You're going to be trying to do a million different things. You wake up in the morning and you start being reactive. Your team are throwing you problems. You see problems in the marketplace. Things are starting to break, and you're not seeing the leads come through, turning into sales, turning into fantastically happy customers at the end of the day. And we need to be able to make sure that you're clear. The way that we do that is we ensure that you have the right strategy in place. And I truly mean the right strategy involved with all of your business to be able to make this happen. Then when it comes to so many entrepreneurs that we speak with, their really problem is they are struggling. They're struggling day in, day out. They're not feeling the way that they want to be able to feel. They're not putting the amount of money that they want to be able to put into in their back pockets. And this is where we want to be able to take them to seamless, making sure that their business systems are seamless day in, day out. You ensuring that you actually have the right systems in place so you can make predictable, replicatable leads coming through the door, sales getting made, customers getting served in a world-class experience, being able to increase their lifetime value, increasing your profits, and being able to put you in your zone of genius doing the work that you love is so important. And lastly, there's one more big problem that we need to solve. This is where so many are going to be feeling, and this could be you right now, chaotic. Where you feel like your business is just way too chaotic. There's too much going on and it doesn't feel like the way you want it to feel at the end of the day. And the way that we need to be able to solve this is we need to be able to have accountability in place. When we have the right accountability in place, we take you from chaotic and we have your business operating like clockwork. This is where we make sure that everything is getting done the way that it needs to get done, because we start with the strategy the way that we need to, making sure that we know that everything in your business is heading in the right direction, that everything that we know that we're doing is going to be the right things that we need to be able to do. We then install the systems to ensure that the way that we need to make this happen is going to actually happen in the way. And we have accountability in place to ensure that these systems are installed and followed the way that they are needed to. But we've got to go even further to really make sure that this Vanguard model works. And this is where we're first going to think about strategy right now. The first thing we need to be able to do is we need to be able to make sure that we have a simple strategy in place. Simple scales at the end of the day. But simple doesn't get cocked up. Simple doesn't get absolutely messed up. Simple is the thing that where we understand it and then we are able to communicate, articulate it, and move it on to the rest of the people that are needed to be able to then install and do what it is that they need to be able to do. This is where we want to be able to help you understand that we need to have a simple strategy, and you'll see that everything that we do in the private advisor group really starts with this as well. Now, the next part of the right strategy is going to be scalable. Now, this is one word that I think gets a little overused, but we're going to use this in the right context as well. We want to be able to scale the right things at the right time as well. We don't just want to grow for the sake of growth, because that can be cancerous. What we want to be able to do is have the right strategy that's simple to be able to follow and understand and to communicate. And we want to be able to install it so it is scalable, so it grows what it needs to be able to grow, and it doesn't start breaking other parts in the business, and it doesn't start taking the business in the wrong direction as well. How many business owners do you and I know that have been growing a business, and essentially what has happened, and this was me not that long ago, had built a business that wasn't actually the business they wanted at the end of the day. But we wanted to be able to have something scalable. But really important, there's one more step when we have a strategy in place. It's doing what it needs to be able to do, and it needs to be sellable. Now, I am very fortunate and grateful that I sold my last company. And it was by doing that that I can give you the full confidence that I've been in your shoes, that I've done what I have needed to be able to do. I've built the skill sets, the behavior, the identity, the traits needed to be able to actually build and sell a company. And this is where, even if you don't want to sell your business, that's perfectly fine. I'm not having that conversation with you just yet. What I'm wanting to do is to ensure that you do have a business that is actually sellable. We're building an asset at the end of the day. And the reason why we want to be able to do that is because that North Star of being able to have that in place means it's actually a business. I really believe that too many coaches, consultants, service providers out there are running a business, and it's just their job. Because if they were to ever step away, the thing would fall apart. It is not a sellable asset at all. And this is where we want to have these strategies in place. But we need to think about these systems and the way that this is going to work right now. The three most important parts to ensure that your business is doing what it needs to be able to do so that you are one happy camper is we need to ensure you have systems behind getting leads. One of the key problems, one of the biggest problems that I'm constantly hearing from entrepreneurs is they're worried about leads. And if leads start to stop, or if leads start to slow down, then suddenly their hair is on fire and they're running around like a headless chook, and there is a big problem in place. We want to make sure leads are constantly coming in. We want to have the systems installed so that's happened, so it's predictable, and so it's going to make sure that it happens day in, day out. The next is we want to make sure that we have a system for making sales day in, day out, and being able to ensure that we're doing it and being able to use that model that I'm also going to walk you through with each 8 parts to growing your business. Putting the systems in place for sales to increase your conversion rate, to increase the lifetime value, to increase the actual ability for you to have higher profits in the business without having to spend more money for those. But then there's kind of one more steps, and this is ops. Having the actual systems in place for your business to be able to operate the way that it needs to. So let's just use an example with delivery. In your delivery structure, when the sale gets made, when someone says, yes, they're either hitting a checkout link and putting their credit card details in, or they're verbally saying their credit card details to your salesperson over a Zoom call? Do you have the exact process, an engineered step-by-step process to make sure that everything is getting taken care of the way that it's needed to be done, so that that customer, so that that client is getting a world-class experience? They're not just going to stick around. They're going to stick around. They're going to rave about you. And we have the operation system in place to ensure that that happens. Now let's think about accountability. How is it that we can actually really ensure that a business succeeds the way that we want it to be able to succeed? It comes down to something that's really important. There's accountability that needs to happen internally. Accountability that's happening with yourself, accountability that's happening with your team members, accountability of the way that your business is actually operating inside itself so it does what it needs to be able to do. So there's not friction, so it doesn't feel like it's something where you walk into every day and you don't have those good feels. I want you to avoid that. I want you to wake up. I want you to kick your feet out of bed every single morning. I want you to love walking into your business. That's what we're here to be able to do. And we need to be able to have accountability internally, but really importantly, we need to have accountability externally as well. What's happening with the external world? What's happening with your customers and clients? What's happening with them being able to do that they need to be able to do to be able to ensure that they're getting done what needs to happen for them to get the result as well? So we need to have internal accountability. We need to have external accountability to ensure that the business actually fully does what it needs to be able to do. But then really importantly, I'm going to write it this way, we need to have cultural accountability. We need to make sure that culturally we have the cadence, culturally we have the actual essence for the way everything actually operates. Something that almost then becomes unspoken about because it's just ingrained in the fabric of the business, in the way you shop, in the way your team members shop, in the way everything's set up, in the way your customers and clients, even the leads actually then engage with your business. This is when we start to unpack a Vanguard model. We start to make sure that you have seamless systems. We start to make sure that you have clockwork accountability. We start to ensure that you have clear strategy in place, that your business is going to be growing the way that it needs to be able to grow. This is what we do inside the Private Advisor Group. This is when we're going to continue to come back and look at your business and give you this specific advice, the systems, and the accountability to make sure that you're doing what it needs to be able to do. So I'm so thankful that I'm being able to share inside with you the Vanguard. You being here inside of this Vanguard Private Advisor Group, this is a key model that we're going to operate off. This is something we're going to unpack, but I wanted to give you a clear understanding of what it is that we're going to be able to do. This is why we are so confident in being able to grow your business. And that's why you're here right now. So I'm very thankful that you suspended your disbelief and you stuck with me all the way to the end of it. And I really hope that you've been able to get this value. I want you to be able to think about this. Well, where are you struggling right now? Do you actually have a strategy in place? Do you have a simple strategy? Do you have a strategy that's going to be able to help you scale the way that you need? Do you have a strategy that's going to give you a sellable asset at the end of the day? Do you have the systems to get leads? Do you have the systems to get sales? Do you have the systems to ensure that your business is operating the way that it needs to? And then really importantly, do you have accountability internally, externally, and culturally to ensure that everything, the fabric that weaves throughout your entire business is doing the way that it needs to be able to do? Because I want to make sure that you have those seamless systems. I want to ensure that you have that clockwork of accountability, and I want to make sure that you have those clear strategies in place, because when you do, that is going to be the game changer. That is going to be when you can actually start to see your business grow, flourish, thrive, going the direction that you want. And you've got those good feelings. You're doing the money, the lifestyle, like that's cool as well. But you're then being able to build something in the business where your internal your team members are loving being a part of this. But then your customers and clients are loving what it is that you've been able to bring to the world. And that, I believe, is why we've become entrepreneurs. So thank you so much for your time and attention joining me. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the show, then I highly suggest you do, because it would be a bummer if you missed out on all the amazing episodes to come. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode.